it, babe, watch it, turn it, leave it, stop, format it. Bring it, babe, watch it, turn it, leave it, stop, format it. Bring it, babe, watch it, turn it, leave it, stop, format it. Bring it, babe, turn it, leave it, stop.
I like that intro music. Do you? I think
That
it's
was
fitting.
that was some intro music, wasn't it? Quite intense to start us off, sir.
That's what we're trying to go for. We're trying to go for that vibe. Let's just dive right into it and get down to the nitty gritty. Let's do this. Let me. I don't know why this is. There we go. That's a little bit better. So I
Hmm.
think, and I want to address. We talked about this. Anybody that's watching, I'm sorry if that video paused the intro. We were having some technical difficulties on it. I don't know why it was glitching on us. I'm going to try to fix that for next week's. But we're live. We're not glitching. We're not pausing. Connor and I are diving right into this, and as they say, going to do the damn thing. So, how you feeling today, man? How's life across the pond right now?
I'm definitely not an AI robot available to glitch at all, sir. I've appeared today in my human form, pretending once again to be a humanoid like yourself. I'm ready and available to provide the nutritional information required to the human people.
How do you think? How long do you think it's going to take for people to realize that you are an AI robot and not an actual human?
I'm not sure if I want them to. We're just rolling with it and we'll we'll just see how it goes. If people think I'm so great at my job that I can't be real, then I take that as a compliment, thank you.
That's a huge compliment. Yeah, this dude is so immaculate and so impeccable that he just must simply not be human. Yeah, that's very flattering. We I think we have a really good episode for people today. We've done this before, but it was like a year ago, maybe more. And this is such a contentious topic. I feel like every time I've written about this in the group, like I made a post in the group, I don't know, maybe a week ago. It wasn't very long ago. And I was just being matter of fact about it. I didn't, there was really nothing controversial. In fact, I said, hey, these things can be really good tools. The only thing I would suggest is that, you want to learn how to maintain for life after the GLP-1, right? And then of course it led to comments about people saying, well, if you're taking GLP-1s, it's not fair, you're cheating, or you didn't really put in the, it's like, that's where it always seems to head to. And so I just thought, you know what, Connor's on this show now. So let's talk about it, and let's just rip the band-aid off, and because it doesn't have to be contentious, right? Like in my opinion, this doesn't really have to be a controversial topic. I think I have my stance on things. I'm sure you have yours, and we're going to agree on a lot of it. But my hope is that we can shed some light on all the GLP-1 stuff. What are they? What do they do? Why are they controversial? Should you take them? What are the pros and the cons? So we can kind of dive into all that. But did you happen to see that post?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's always, like you say, contentious is a good word. It's a seemingly debatable topic, though I'm not entirely sure why, but I'm sure we'll get
Yeah,
into that.
I have some theories as to why, but I think it's part of it's human nature, and but the other thing is, like, we want shortcuts. Humans, as by our very nature, we want the path of least resistance. That's what the human brain is designed to do. And all biological beings and systems try to take the most optimal path, right? Because the path of least resistance means less calorie expenditure, aka energy expansion, right? And that is essentially our human survival mechanism. Is we want to conserve calories, conserve energy, conserve ourselves. So if I see that one path is extremely difficult and here's this easier path, I'm much more inclined to take the easier path because it's more uh, it's more congruent and more conducive to my own survival and basic biological needs, right? Like that's just how we're wired. So that's part of it, but we don't need to start there. I think that maybe the best place to start is when we talk about GLP-1s, like what are GLP-1s? What is GLP-1? It stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on it because I'm not, but I know enough about it to be dangerous and obviously educate people, much like yourself. It's a naturally occurring hormone. Technically, the hormone itself, it's already something your body makes. So it primarily is a hormone that is in your intestines after you eat. So the hormone that we're talking about in question, it does a couple things. It helps regulate your blood sugar. It helps with your appetite. It impacts digestion rate. It impacts how full you feel. So and again, I'm not the expert on this, but it essentially means that it behaves somewhat similarly in broader glucose regulation or in that system. So, specifically interacting with the hormone glucagon, which raises blood sugar. So these drugs they're not introducing they're not new. Like some people think that these are new. These aren't introducing some alien molecule, right, that your body's never seen before. They're actually mimicking a signaling pathway that your body already uses. So that's what they do. And one of the kind of the I don't want to I guess I'll call it a downside that people report when they're on these, and I already mentioned digestion rate. It does slow gastric emptying, so you become fuller quicker. Um, One of the downsides is when food is moving more slowly through your digestive system, that creates constipation. So that is one thing that people actually struggle with, and they're like, "Man, I don't, this is my stomach doesn't feel good. I haven't used the bathroom in several days. Like, is this really for me?" So right off the bat, people start to question, "Dang, is this really how it works?" I just want to get that out of the way. And again, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing or any reason not to take it, but high level, that's what GLP-1 stands for, and that's essentially what it does on a just kind of surface level. Um, is that
Absolutely,
your
yes.
understanding as well?
Of course. So it's a peptide, and today I didn't come dressed as a peptide. Like,
I
let's.
don't know how you how would you do that?
Well, don't challenge me, sir. I am prepared.
Yeah,
But I didn't know if it would be appropriate. Like last time, I did come dressed as an AI robot since we were AI. This time we're peptides. I chose not to come dressed as a peptide. But yes, it's a naturally occurring thing inside the body, and it's a medication that is becoming increasingly popular. Started out for diabetes. It's been around a long time as well, even though it's new, sort of in the zeitgeist. It's
yeah,
been around for a long time, actually. There's quite a lot of long-term studies on these things, even though there's new versions coming out and new dosages and
right.
types coming out.
Stronger
New,
versions and all that. Yeah,
yeah, blended versions for different usages and things like this. So it's becoming more and more well known and widely used, and proving effective as well. One of the things I found most interesting, what you said, and one of the things I find most interesting about the situation overall, is, to use the word that you used before, the contentiousness of it. So why do you think it's so divisive, quote unquote? Why? Like, I am on a science perspective of, sorry to interrupt my own question as well, but I'm on a science perspective the same as you. I care about helping
hmm
people. I want people to use tools that they have available to them that are suitable for them, that provide more health benefits than the negatives that it may provide. And if that's bringing long-term or even short-term positive accruable benefits for that person, and it's providing more positive than negative, then what are we talking about here? Why is this a bad thing? But like you said, a lot of people don't feel like this. They're feeling very up and down in the public. And what do you think's going on there?
Again, I think this is kind of going back to the human nature side of things. We tend to, and I could be wrong. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I think some of it is
Mm-hmm.
jealousy too. Like if I'm being honest, I think we we're quick to call out, "Oh, that's a short." It's like steroids, right? Guys that use steroids, a lot of us have seen them in the gym, and it's very clear that they're using steroids. And you think, "Oh, that guy's cheating." It's like, well, he still has to put in the hard work. Like you still have to lift weights. You don't just get jacked by doing steroids, right? It's kind of that same
Interesting. I
idea.
see the
We look at it,
analogy. Yeah, not the same thing, but similar feelings towards it. A
towards it,
medic.
right? Like you
Yeah,
cheated or something, or you took a shortcut. That's not, it's not fair.
yeah.
So we kind of feel jealous, like you didn't really accomplish that. It's
A medicated speed increase to a goal sort of thing in transformation of the physical body. So it's got sort of
yeah,
similar things to it. But you keep using, and other people keep using this word cheating, which is very interesting because cheating implies that there are rules to be broken. And I
yeah,
would
right.
question, how are we cheating if there aren't any sanctioned rules or variables? What are we cheating exactly? If you're a boxer and you're using steroids, then maybe you're cheating.
Yeah.
But if, what are we saying here?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, yeah, it's like, well, is there a rule book on how to do this? No, there isn't. So, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't think that the notion that, you're cheating by being on GLP-1 is valid. It's just, it seems to be this angle that some people take. And again, I'm not saying that's most people are supportive of others when it's like, you do you. If that's helping you, go for it. Like that's my stance. If it helps you and it's really making a difference, absolutely go for it. These things are really good, powerful tools, but you do have those people that, that kind of look down on others for what they feel is taking a shortcut or cheating, for lack of a better word. And so I think that's where that idea can kind of come from. But, going back to like the mechanism of these things and how they work. I mean, to your point, it really isn't. I mean, cheating just because just because it's a quicker way to lose weight and can help. Again, the GLP-1 drugs, they activate the same receptors as your natural GLP-1 hormone would activate, but it's just for harder and for longer, right? So your natural GLP-1 gets broken down pretty quickly, like within minutes. These drugs are designed to stick around for much longer and they have major effects, right? So insulin secretion, that increases, right, when blood sugar is elevated. The important nuance there is that they stimulate insulin in a glucose dependent way, meaning if your blood sugar is normal or low, they don't just force your insulin secretion, like it doesn't go wild and recklessly, right? That's why hypoglycemia risk is pretty low unless it's combined with other diabetic meds, for example. So the result is better blood sugar control. And I guess if that means, if in people's opinion that that's somehow cheating, again, you do you. Don't worry about
Yes.
what other people are going to say. It really is. It's whatever works for you. I think.
Is
I mean
metformin cheating for
that's my stance on
diabetes?
it. Say that again.
Is metformin cheating for diabetes? It
Exactly. Yeah. Same
is
point.
are statins cheating for cholesterol? What are we talking about here? Is it really good if people can manage their blood sugar slash diabetes slash cholesterol slash whatever health problems they might have without medication? Yes. Can everybody do that? No.
And can
Do we have modern tools now to help people in these situations who aren't managing to help it in the natural ways? Yes, they've tried it. It's not a mute point that, the natural way. Yes, the natural way. We prescribe the natural way more than anybody. Who prescribes the natural way more than Macros Inc.? No one. We do the natural way. We don't prescribe any medications to anyone ever. I've never done it once in my life. I'm not even allowed or qualified. I don't do that. I just tell people to eat healthy and exercise. But do I mind that if people use other tools as well that also might help them if it's suited for that individual? Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, man. I that's exactly where I stand. I think, and again, these things aren't. It's not like these are new to the world. Like we've had these things before, right? The current hype makes these feel like they're all the rage and that they're brand new. They aren't. I think in 2005 we had. I'm not gonna be able to think of the name. I believe it was exanatide, something like that. That was a very early GLP-1 med for diabetes. In 2010, there was Victoza, and people here in the U.S. have probably heard of that term from the commercials. But Victoza, And then later it was Saxenda, something like that. 2017 was when semaglutide, Ozempic hit the market. And so, and now you see commercials like, well, you probably don't see them in the UK, but we have them all over here on the US side of things on TV. But like commercials, for Wegovy, and there's all these other ones, and Mounjaro. Although Mounjaro, can't say it, is not technically just a GLP-1. It's a dual antagonist. It's a GLP-1 and GIP. But either way, these things aren't new. It's just each time they get a little bit stronger and a little bit more effective. So, we did get some comments here, by the way. Let me see if
Beautiful. Welcome listeners from around the world.
We got a comment from Georgina. My weight got to a point where it was affecting my health. My doctor recommended Wegovy, and I've been using it for as a tool to get things under control. I still had to do the work to lose. Yeah, exactly. It's not like you can just, not do the work. I mean, this thing is a tool. It's a way to help what you're already doing. Another one from Marcy. I don't judge other people for taking things like GLP-1, but for me, I would not use any medication in my body to lose weight if I didn't have a need. If I didn't have a need for its medical purpose, such as diabetes. And yeah, and that's a totally respectable thing too. Again, everyone has to make their own decision. Like if so no issue with that at all. I mean, I totally get where you're coming from too, Marcy. I think these. Let me ask you, why do you think it's a contentious issue? I've given you kind of my perspective. I don't know if it's correct or not. That just seems to be how it appears to me. But what is your theory as to why this is a hot topic, or why it tends to get contentious?
I think people are just scared of things that are new, and that's okay, and that's normal. I was also skeptical at first. I'll say I'm skeptical of many things at first, and that's okay, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a natural way to be, that's a protective way to be, that's quite a safe way to be, and also there are a lot of people using these tools wrong, which is also muddying the waters. There's a lot of people using them unprescribed, there's a lot of people buying illegally created ones, from sketchy sources that might have been made in a bathtub, and then getting side effects that they shouldn't be getting as well. And there's a lot of people using them that perhaps, quote unquote, shouldn't be. And I know it's each person's sovereign right what they do, but these tools are made for certain people in certain situations, and some people are not using them quite right and not doing the correct work, and they're not getting the correct outcomes, but that's not a fault of the medications, that's the fault of the usage. Like, some people just literally take a really high dose of a GLP-1 and then they just stop eating because now they're just not hungry and they don't think about food, and they don't exercise at all, they don't eat anything healthy, they don't increase their food quality, they're not hydrated, they're not trying to do anything different really, they just inject the medication, find that they're suddenly not hungry, cut down their calorie intake to 1,000 per day, and then their hair starts falling out. And then we get all these reports of people not feeling good, and people having muscle loss, and people just, all these negative side effects. And it's not that the medications themselves are without side effects, because there aren't any free rides. Of course, there are some side effects, but it's a tool, and when used correctly, like I have a lot of clients using these medications and using it really well, and it's just another tool in their tool belt. It doesn't, like, my perspective as a coach is, I don't mind whether the client's on the GLP-1 or not. We're going to do the exact same things. We're going to do the exact same things. I'm going to make sure the person
That's it right there.
That's it. That's all. I'm going to do the same. It's not even making it quicker. It's not negating the need for a calorie deficit. It's not negating the fact that we need to eat a good protein diet or do resistance training. We should be doing these things anyway, shouldn't we? But then if we are taking medication to accelerate these processes, we better be taking it seriously, and I'm glad to be there for people while we're doing it, because we need to be getting the most out of this situation. If we're doing something, if we're trying to do more to get more, then let's do more and get more. So it's the same to me whether clients use it or not. I have people on, people off, I have people start on it and then transition off it, and this is fine too. And we at Macros Inc. have an extraordinarily high success rate of people being on these medications and then transitioning off, because all we do, I am not a doctor, I do not prescribe these things, I don't give people the dosages, I don't tell people any advice to do with it at all. I say please refer to your doctor, tell him what I've told you as the nutritionist, let's all work together as a triangular team, we do the health and fitness stuff. I get people onto a decent amount of calories to create a good rate of weight loss. I make sure they're getting enough nutrition so that they feel good. We don't lose muscle, we build muscle. We're doing training while we're doing it. You know, we're ameliorating any of the negatives that other people are getting. We're getting really great outcomes, and then we're transitioning smoothly off the way that it should be used.
Yeah, I think it's really well said, and that's exactly how I mean, I think you just painted a really good picture of, but my post last week was kind of touching on that too. It's like, really, it's not about GLP-1s versus coaching. Like, it's both, right? I think these complement one another really well. So it's
Versus? Is that what people think? What is this?
well, it seems, yeah. I mean, that's again, that's one of the
It's
one of
nonsensical.
the topics, right? It's yeah, no, I agree. I think that's one of the topics though, right? As well, because and I've talked to people one on one about it. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to give the GLP-1 a try first, and then maybe I'll get a coach. It's like, okay, yeah, totally respect that, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, both complement one another really, really well. If you want the best results, I would do both. I think the other part of that too is you need to have a plan for life after the GLP-1 because we have the data on this, and it does show there's a lot of people who regain the weight within a year, sometimes even sooner, after coming off the GLP-1, right? So if you don't make actual changes and behavior changes and habit changes, it's likely going to come back on, and that's just kind of the reality of it. Again, I think it was something like 80% of the people gain the weight back. So that's 4 out of 5 people are going to gain it back. Those aren't great odds, right? Like I think that's kind of the thing that we have to remember. So
Counterpoint though, as GLP-1 shill, big pharma shill over here. I'm actually a broccoli and decent protein intake shill. But also every form of dieting and weight loss also has the exact same regain and rebound rate. Again, that's not even a fault of the medication. That's just an actual situation that occurs for people when they lose weight, no matter how they lose the weight.
sorry, pardon me for having my son's home today. I had to tell him to, hey, turn that down and will you close my door, buddy? So sorry for the interruption there.
Beautiful.
But yes,
I could hear no background noise, by the way, but
oh, you could,
beautiful.
okay, good. Yeah, and I think one of the things you'd mentioned too a couple minutes ago was the kind of the pros and like everything has pros and cons, everything, and there's a lot of good that these things can do, and I do think it's worth touching on. Okay, what are those pros and cons? Because for anybody that's listening and wondering, should I get on a GLP-1? I think diving into here's what you need to know can help steer you in one direction or the other and really make a difference. So
Please.
you've already hit on a lot of the the pros. I mean, I think first and foremost, there is significant weight loss with these things. Clinical averages are something like with semaglutide, 10 to 15% body weight loss. With tirzepatide, about 15 to 20%, so roughly the same. But some people exceed that, and that's you start.
This is like 20 to 40 pounds in like real money as well, isn't it? This is and that's statistically health significant. Even 5% weight loss is health significant. Like it will show up on your lifespan and blood tests that you are healthier.
Yes,
and we're talking
100%.
Way more weight loss than that.
Correct. Yeah, I mean you end up approaching bariatric surgery territory in some cases, so it can be quite a lot. Better food, better blood sugar control, which is a huge benefit for type 2 diabetics or people who are pre-diabetic, people who are developing insulin resistance, reduced hunger. Obviously for many people, you hear about food noise, right? And the willpower and the battle against, this food noise, that becomes dramatically easier. And that matters because, obviously obesity isn't just knowing what to do. It's like, how do I actually do these things consistently? And like, how do I eat less, right? We always tell people, well, we don't really tell people this, but the idea is eat less, move more. Great. I know that. How do I actually do that in real life? So one of the things that a GLP-1 can do is it naturally reduces your hunger and you're not sitting there thinking about food all day, right?
Yes.
So there's, yeah.
Sorry.
What were we going to say?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just was going to add on an extra point of reducing the food noise. Seems to reduce other noise also. Like there's a state and situation called anhedonia, which anhedonia, hedon, as in hedonism, as in pleasure, as in
Right.
lack of pleasure or lesser pleasure in the word meaning, to have lesser pleasure. Like it seemed the medications seem to have an action of reducing pleasure systems in the brain
Right.
overall slightly, so it sort of makes eating pleasurable food less pleasurable. But then this also seems to bleed out slightly into, there's some studies showing that people smoke less when they're using these things, and people have other show less gravity towards addictions and addictive sort of
Yes.
situations and properties of things. Just overall, it seems to be have a reduction of overall noise, not just food noise, via those pathways, which is, I feel like that's quite interesting. Could have other uses to other people and help other things, perhaps, and maybe.
People that say, my brain finally feels quiet. Like, and that could, a lot of the times it means food, but it can also mean other things, right? So, but like binge eating tendencies, compulsive overeating, reward driven eating, like that, these things can be really helpful in reducing that. And again, we hear that from people a lot. There's actually cardiovascular benefits as well. There are certain drugs that have shown reduced heart attack risk, which is, heart disease is the number one killer of it's the number one killer of women, and actually women are the majority of the people who are taking these drugs. So for women especially, heart attack risk decreasing is obviously nothing but a positive thing. We've seen there appear to be some benefits toward reduced stroke risk, or just cardiovascular events in general. And again, that has to do with when you lose weight, a lot of your health markers tend to improve, and things like heart attack and stroke, those risks they go down. There's also potential liver benefits. There is evidence for improvement in fatty liver disease. So it has benefits, and when you lose weight like this too, let's also not forget to mention inflammation markers. A lot of inflammation can these broader metabolic effects can really impact you positively. The cons,
Whole body
go ahead.
inflammation reduction sometimes, isn't it? And some of these
Yeah,
benefits that you state here are also being shown to be independent of weight loss, it seems, as well. Some of them
yeah.
on some levels, like there does seem to be some cardiovascular and anti-inflammatory benefits, for example, even without the presence of weight loss, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and again, this is, these are just the things that I know about it. I don't know necessarily the totally in-depth mechanisms behind it, but again, the benefits that I rattled off are very real. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the cons as well, because again, I want people
Hmm.
to be able to decide for themselves, is this something worth taking? The Some of the cons are, I mentioned it kind of at the beginning of the show, the GI side effects, right? So it's common to feel nauseous. Some people experience vomiting, constipation, acid reflux, bloating. You know, some people tolerate these perfectly, and some feel awful. So it's just something to be aware of. You may not feel the best, although it does appear that after using it for a bit, a lot of those symptoms can eventually subside. The big one you mentioned earlier too, because you it was kind of when you were talking about what you do with people when you work with them, is we don't lose muscle, we build muscle, but there is that muscle loss risk, right? If someone crash diets, if they underconsume their protein, if they're not doing resistance training, uh, the weight loss can absolutely include meaningful muscle mass loss, and we don't want that. That's not unique to GLP-1s, by the way, but I mean that is, the appetite suppression can be pretty aggressive, and the bigger your deficit, the more at risk you are for muscle loss, right? So there's that risk as well. Cost obviously can be prohibitive, especially if your insurance doesn't cover it. That can be a major barrier. The final thing I would say, and then I'll shut up so you can talk too, because I know probably got points. But the one thing that I want to really emphasize, that in my opinion is the big one to really consider: the weight regain after you've stopped, right? That's important, right? If the drug was the only thing that created the deficit, and the weight loss, then stopping those usually means your hunger goes up, your food intake goes up, the weight comes back on, right? That's not really anything to do with the drug. It's a biology and behavior thing. So it's very important that's why I say GLP-1s and coaching complement one another really well, because you can take these GLP-1s, lose weight, have really good results from them, and coaching can show you how do I instill new habits and behaviors so that when I'm ready to be done on this, like my habits and behaviors are such that I'm already living like a person who is now 50 pounds lighter or 100, whatever you end up losing, right? Like I'm already living and doing the things that a lighter, healthier, fitter person would be doing. And that makes it much easier for me to just maintain my weight. So those are kind of, I think, the big cons for me. What would you add?
I would add thank you is my first point. I think you've done amazing scene setting. You've really let people know what these medications are. I think you've set a really good scene there. You've spoke about how they work and different types and the history of them, etc. Really, really good there. So thank you. Some fitness professionals are resistant as well, as you said about the contentiousness. It's not only in people saying cheating, people having opinions about what other people do, which again is normal. Some people don't like whatever people do. Like, if you lose weight, some people in your life will like it, and some people won't. If you gain weight, some people in your life will like it, and some people won't. If you leave your job, some people will like it, and some people won't in your life. And if you go left, some people will say that's good. If you go, and some people will say that's wrong. And if you go right, no, there's 8 billion people. Nobody likes what you do all the time. You have to do what's right for you. So,
correct.
I see
Really
fitness professionals. Thank you. I see fitness professionals as well being resistant to this and acting like it's not the natural standard way, but I would say number one, yes. Number two, good, because the natural standard way doesn't work for all people. Otherwise, the obesity epidemic would already be fixed. We already know about eat less, move more. We already know about calorie deficit. It does work for a lot of people, and it needs to be applied on a fundamental level. But also, that's not working for every single person. People are still dying from the obesity epidemic, and yes, like you said, these medications, they do have side effects. That's true. You should talk to your doctor. Like you said, should people decide to use these, that's their sovereign choice, and also you should talk to your doctor. You cannot ask me if you should use it. I can't make that decision. I'm not you, number one, or your doctor qualified to prescribe these medications, number two. I will support you the same no matter what you choose to do in your life, because I care about your health and happiness, and I do it from the inside out. The doctor might help with outside in with some medication applications to help us with what we need to do. Good. We can work as a triangular team. I do the inside out. I support you no matter what you want to do, whether you're left or right. I'm in. We need to eat fibre and protein. I don't mind whether you're up, whether you're down, left, right, vegan, omnivorous. I don't mind what GLP-1 or not. We're doing it.
Yeah, and in addition to, you mentioned fiber. Also, like if you're going to do these, it's important to stay hydrated too, because the whole point about gastric emptying, right? Your digestive system starts moving a lot more slowly. What ends up happening is when it's moving through your intestines, a lot of the water gets absorbed, right? And that's one of the things that can cause constipation, right? Because it's
These
slower.
medications have a slight diuretic effect sometimes as well, yes.
Yeah, right. So it is important to make sure that you're hydrated on these things as well. Just wanted to throw that little point in there. But I think the other thing that you mentioned too is, look, people are still dying from the obesity epidemic. So let's not paint. I think it's important not to paint one picture or the other. By that I mean one picture is if you're taking these things, you're cheating. No, you're not. That's unserious. That's complete BS. So don't paint that picture. But also,
It doesn't make sense as a stance to take. You can't cheat against something that doesn't have rules.
yeah, right. The other extreme is these are going to solve obesity. Well, also no, because
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, probably not. Also,
like,
it's not panacea.
No, right, exactly. So it's not one end or the other. Like a lot of things in life, it's somewhere in the middle, and you kind of just have to find that balance. I think a better framing is, look, and I've said this many times, I said this in my post, I still take this stance. GLP-1s are a powerful tool. For some people, they're transformative and they work really well. But tools still need context and expectations and behavior support. And that's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's what we provide. So I think my one suggestion there, I guess if there's one thing to take away from this podcast is, well, two things. One, decide for yourself if this is something you want to do, weigh all the pros and cons, decide what's best for you. And two, I would really recommend that you do get a coach or work with somebody. It doesn't have to be us. We'd love it if people would work with us, obviously, but work with whoever you're comfortable with to really make sure that you're setting yourself up for long-term success and life after GLP-1s. Because what you're really going to want to avoid is the weight regain, and you're going to want to make sure that you have instilled the habits and behaviors that are going to keep that weight off. I mean, if you lose 50 pounds, that's a significant amount of weight. And to keep that off, you're going to have to behave differently than you did before. Otherwise, it's just going to come right back on, right? So I think those are kind of the takeaways that the biggest takeaways for me personally that I would say people need to take into consideration.
Thank you. Yes, I see posts from a variety of different fitness professionals around the internet, etc. You may be likely aware of a man, Dr. Spencer Nadolsky.
Oh yeah, of course. Yep.
World famous, world regarded positive fitness and health professional, maybe one of the leaders in GLP-1 medication and application at the minute, and definitely a large proponent of it.
Maybe we should get him on the podcast. I could reach out to him and say, "Hey, do you want to come on the podcast?" Maybe he'd say yes. I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out to him and see if that'd be cool to have him on. Sorry, continue.
It would be amazing. He's literally maybe the best in the world. I mean, you can't. It's not a.
I love his Facebook posts. He's not afraid to post anything. I love what he posts.
He's great. Yeah. And he was literally saying a few days ago that the main problem with GLP-1s is post-medication support. Mm-hmm. Guess who that is? Oh, it's your men from Macros Inc. We're here. The medications are effective. They're here, they're not going anywhere, they're staying, there's no point fighting against it particularly. It's not right for everybody, nothing is. There's no medication that's right for everybody, stop it. If it's not right for you, good. If it is right for you, good. These things are just tools, like you said, it's useful for some people. We all have to accept it, absolutely. There's going to be new different versions. I'd like to talk to you about that in a minute as well, what the future of these things might look like. But the medication's here, it's effective, it's helping people. Is it, at the minute, the long-term one-size-fits-all panacea, you just take it and everything's just fine? No, it's one tool in a numeration of tactics that you're going to need to use to change forever. And we have a few of these tools, and your doctor or your provider of these medications, maybe if it's right for you, has the other tool as well. And now people can combine these tools. It's just another thing people can use. Some people like cardio, some people like weights, some people like intermittent fasting, some people like calorie counting, and some people like GLP-1s. And I don't have any client using all of them, and I don't tell any client to use any one of them. Like, not all of my clients do calorie counting, not all of my clients do macros, not all of my clients do cardio, not all of my clients do resistance, not all of my clients run a GLP-1. I've got yeses and nos and combinations of any of these things and more variables for all people, and that is the way that it should be. So even the biggest proponents and world-class professionals in GLP-1s, they are on our side at the minute saying we are the most important people. The medications are here, it's working, it's good, it's part of it, nice, okay, but what about the rest? You can't get away from it. That part's still real. Us and the health and fitness, that part's still real.
Where do you think these things are going in the future then? You mentioned that. Because I'm not an expert. Again, I'm not an expert on these things, but I think what we're going to see is just probably slightly more powerful versions of the previous iteration, right? And then beyond that, I'm not sure. But I think that's probably in the short term what we're going to see. What did you have in mind on that specifically?
Yes, again, it's the future, and it's mostly predictions, so this is somewhat opinion and just bits that I've seen from science that's approaching and appearing, and none of this is concrete, so I can't predict the future, of course, but what I know is occurring is consistent iterations of these medications, improvement iterations. They're proven to be effective. It's already a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's like, so then what are pharmaceutical companies going to do? They're seeing something that's working, it's helping people, it's also helping them, it's synergistic, they're putting more money back into it that they're generating from these, and then they're creating better versions. When you say more powerful, that's correct, but the word powerful, I'm like a little bit of a stickler for semantics. So when you say the word powerful, what powerful would mean in these instances is not just like taking more and ramming in more of the sort of hormone. No, it's not like a bazooka or a flamethrower and we're just turning up the heat. What's actually occurring is more specific versions of the medications called biologics, where right now it's a hormone or similar, like it's a peptide, but these medications and different medications, we have hormones and we have peptides, and they're big molecules that have sort of myriad and cascading effects across the body. They don't only do one thing, they do many things, and some of them you want and some of them you don't want. And each iteration of the medication amplifies the parts of it that you want and reduces the parts that you don't want. So firstly, they're going to get better at what they do, which is reducing people's food noise and appetite. Secondly, they're going to get better in their ability to not have side effects. I know that's a weird double positive I've just used, but they'll get better in what they should do and better in what not doing what they shouldn't do. I'm not saying that well, but the side effects will get lesser, essentially. They're also definitely creating versions that people are planned to be on forever. So right now we've got versions where you should come off them, and most people are put on them for a period of time and then should transition off. But that is going to change as well. There's going to be versions that people stay on forever. There's going to be smaller micro doses that perhaps will be available to the vast population. There's now blended versions, like you said, where it's not only glucagon-like peptide and their sort of similar variations, but also other peptides and other again biologics and molecules that have different sort of positive effects on the body. Like there's a new version out now which pairs a GLP-1 for the weight loss with some sort of myostatin inhibitor for muscle building, and this is being trialed in monkeys, and the weight loss was double, and they only lost 15 grams of muscle with no exercise. So the muscle, like when applied with this myostatin inhibitor, and myostatin's something in your body that stops muscle building. It's like a blocker on muscle building. You can seemingly turn that off with another medication, so the body builds more muscle easier, seemingly even seemingly without exercise. And also there are some steroid studies even showing that this can occur as well. Like if people are put on high enough levels of testosterone, then they can build muscle without even exercising. They will just build muscle.
Yeah, I have seen. That's true. I have seen that.
Yeah. But again, steroids are very sort of like bazooka-like nuclear bomb mechanisms based on hormones, where testosterone has a myriad of effects that you don't really want. Like you might just want to take it to build some muscle, but also it's going to have so many other effects on the body that you just don't necessarily want to occur. So then newer versions of these medications are coming out, which again rather than applying the hormone or peptide, which then breaks down and cascades in the body into the thing you actually want it to do, they're just narrowing it down and down and down to get to the actual thing that you want it to do, and then they're just going to just sniper laser beam that part in. So it's going to be interesting the way that it turns out. The side effects are going to go down, the effectiveness is going to go up, it's going to be paired with different sort of, I don't know, medications of whatever type it might be to, again, ameliorate some of the side effects like the muscle loss and things like that. None of this will stop the fact at all that your body still needs nutrition. You can't just inject something or take a pill and then pretend that your body does not need baseline nutrition at all. That's not real.
For sure.
You still need protein, you need carbs, you need fats to transport these hormones and vitamins and minerals around the body, otherwise you will be unhealthy. Doesn't matter about the weight loss or not. You know, we still need to do the baseline things. You still need good habits and things like this, but it'll be interesting how the future turns out, I feel.
Yeah, interesting is a good word for it. I don't know what it holds or what these are going to look like, but I do know that people are always going to need other people. People are always going to need to have some sort of guidance and accountability, and just someone that can teach them what do I need to do. So again, that's where I think these GLP-1s and coaching meet, right? And hey, we'll be here. We'll be here whenever anybody needs help, when everybody's ready to be done, and like, how do I maintain what I've got? We are your go-to people. You got any spots open for anyone that's wanting to join the one and only Coach Connor? Not to put you on the spot, but is your roster open?
Well,
If
I
it's
will
full,
say,
just say it's full. It's okay.
well, I will say at Macros Inc., we always have spots to help anybody who wants help.
True that.
We are always ready, and I am not the premier coach at Macros Inc. I may be sat here on this podcast, but we have many, many coaches who are all amazing in their own rights. And I am right for some people, and you might think that my personality is right to help you. And I loved what you said there, that people still need help from people. That's why coaching and people like us will never go away. It doesn't matter if you can get answers from ChatGPT or if you can take a hormone or not. When it's still tough and you've still got stresses and struggles in life and you still need to make habit change and you're still trying to be a healthy, happy person, of which part of that is human connection and social support, who will be there for you then? Some people don't have like family members or friends who care about what you eat, and that's fair because they love you anyway. They don't care whether you're 140 pound or you're 240 or you're 340. They love you anyway because you're the family and friends. Sometimes some people need somebody who cares about that part of their life, and it's us at Macros Inc. So to answer your question in short, sir, if anybody requests me, yes, I take that as a giant honour. And I love it when somebody requests me as their coach, because I take my job very seriously, and I hope that is apparent. But it may seem on the outset and on the outside that it's a weight loss program, or people come to just lose some weight or something like this. But from my perspective, people are entrusting their health and happiness into me and into us at Macros Inc. Their future. They are letting us into their lives and allowing us to help them with a part of their life that's big and important, and it happens every day. It's the foods that they eat, and it's the way that they feel, and it's the well-being that they have, and it's maybe the movement that they do and whether they feel confident on that and whether they get results. And this affects not only now but their future, and their well-being affects their family and how they treat them. So it's when somebody says, hey, Coach Connor, I think you are the guy to help me, I'm like, that's awesome and I'm ready. But even if you think my personality is not perfect for you, I fully understand that. And we have so many coaches at Macros. And maybe you feel like a female coach is right for you. I understand that too. That's also perfectly legitimate. And we have so many people who are ready, no matter. Actually, on our intake form, doesn't it? It asks you what kind of coach that you want. And we have some coaches who are... well, it says on the intake form drill sergeant, but all our coaches are really friendly. But we do have some that are like quite matter of fact if you want telling what to do, and we have some people who are more friendly cheerleader style. We have people who are professionals in different areas, etc., don't we?
I was going to well, I'll play it anyway. You mentioned, hey, when you're ready, we'll be there for you, right? So what does this remind you of? Here's our theme song. See if I can get it to play.
I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you.
I assume Friends was just as big in the UK back in the day as it was here, right? Because it was everybody. I mean, I actually didn't really watch it. I caught certain episodes of it, but like, it seemed like everybody here back in the day watched Friends.
Always and forever.
Phenomenon.
Always and forever, on repeat, on TV, non-stop, just like on one of the stations that's, even after it had finished way after, on one of the stations, if you just go a little bit higher and higher and higher on the +1 channel on the remote, as it used to be, just playing constantly on a loop, just Friends, just everybody loves Friends. Come on, everybody loves it. Absolute classic there.
We got like a couple minutes left. I'm just going to ask you, this is totally unrelated to this episode. Give me your top 3 favorite shows or movies of all time.
Very, very interesting. you want to know something about me as well, sir? I am not a big movie or TV watcher anymore because I have a very...
You told me about that. You've told me this about yourself. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't actually own a television in my house, and people find it very strange. And some people ask me, they lean in and they say quite inquisitively, "What do you point your sofa towards?" And I'm like, that's a decent point.
Well, I guess maybe this will be difficult for you then, because now I'm really curious. Since you're not an avid, and I'm not an avid TV watcher, I'm not an avid movie watcher. My wife always gives me a hard time that I can never sit down and watch a movie unless I'm like super interested in it. I could still tell you my top three favorite movies of all time. I'd have a more difficult time telling you my favorite shows because I just don't watch a whole lot of shows. But
Mm,
I'm curious, what a guy without TV,
Yes,
what are
yes.
his
And
movies and shows?
the reason that it's this way is because I enjoy it too much, not because I don't like it. Like
Okay.
I get
That's
very
fair.
addicted to things. Like the last show I watched was Breaking Bad, and I found out about it a little bit too late with the ability to binge watch the whole thing. And I stayed in bed for 2 weeks, watched the whole thing, and came out like a confused skeleton. And I thought, I just can't do this anymore. I like it too much, not enough. So at that point, I never watched another TV series ever again. So people say to me like, have you watched this show? Have you watched that show? Just
Yeah.
naming something that they love, like Game of Thrones, for example. And I'm like, no,
Never seen it.
no. And
Yeah, I've never seen it.
they'll say to me, "You'll love it," and I'm like, I know. That's why I haven't
Yeah,
watched
exactly.
it. I haven't got time for that. I'm trying to save people's lives on a day-to-day basis. Some people who come to me, if they don't lose weight, they'll die. I'm like, literally, I've got actual things to do. That I can't get, I'll love it too much. I can't get involved in that kind of awesomeness. So I just have to just, so, TV shows. The last one again I watched, the actual like a series, was Breaking Bad, and I thought it was so good it made me quit television forever, which is interesting. Movies I like a variety of movies. I tend to like longer movies. I like the classic Lord of the Rings, very classic over here.
Never watched them. I never watched the Lord of the Rings movies. I know it's wild.
What we only have in England a few sort of laws or mythologies. We have King Arthur. Are you aware of King Arthur?
Oh yeah.
The sword in the stone, the guy who pulls
Yep,
the
of
sword
course.
out of the stone.
Oh, yeah.
Comes from, I also quite like history, so it comes from a real life history thing where people used to put swords into the river to appease like Celtic river gods of some kind, and then some people would find swords and then pull them out and they would deem that good luck. So we have King Arthur, who's supposed to be recurring somehow when the time is needed for a hero to arrive. We have King Arthur. Then nothing happened for like literally maybe 1,000 years. We had no good stories in England, and then along came Lord of the Rings. This is like can't remember whether it was World War One or World War Two times. Tolkien sort of writing Lord of the Rings, so we take it quite seriously and we enjoy it here in England. It's only about
As you should.
it's only about an hour and a half from me where the Shire is set.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. like I live in Yorkshire, and then there's Derbyshire, and then there's Lancashire, places like this. So these places are called shires, So it's at the rolling hills of England. It's where the hobbits live in the holes.
I'm sitting here. We're sitting here talking about how we don't watch shows, and yet I'm going to still recommend one to you because it's just a mini series. It's a mini series. It's only 5 episodes. HBO's Chernobyl.
And is
5
this
episodes.
is this factual
I've
or drama?
Yeah.
Or...
Oh yeah. It's based on the actual nuclear explosion at the Chernobyl power plant in 1986. I don't know. I think part of the reason I loved it so much is because ever since I was a little boy and knew about it, I was fascinated with that whole thing and how that happened, and the abandoned city of Pripyat, which is a few miles away.
Oh yeah.
It's been totally abandoned since then. I guess they give tours there. I would love to go see that. Like I've been, so when the show came out, I'm like, hell yes, I'm watching this. And it's my wife and I just watched it again this like the last couple of weeks, and it's still just as good as the first time. I love it. So I would definitely recommend that, just because it's 5 episodes. You can get through it in, well, however long you want to take, but it's a pretty quick and easy watch. But man, is it good!
I've seen Chernobyl documentaries before and liked and enjoyed them, so I'm aware of some of these things on the periphery. So I likely would enjoy that, yes. Other movies and shows I've watched, you remind me for some reason, I don't know why this popped into my head, but last year I actually watched a TV series and was absolutely mind blown, and it was Mr. Beast Games Series 1. Have you ever seen this? The Mr. Beast games?
I know who he is, and I've yes, like where it's like competitions on like obstacle courses and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I watched series 1 of this and was absolutely mind blown at how traumatizingly emotional it was. Like the situations he puts the contestants in are absolutely emotionally terrible. Season 2, I will say, I watched it and did not enjoy it whatsoever. But season 1 I thought was absolutely fabulous. Like he would do things in a very shocking way. I don't even know how I ended up watching it. I think somebody else recommended it and then I put it on. And I remember in one of the competitions, for example, there's all these competitors. I think it starts with 1,000 and then it's every time they go through a competition they whittle it down until eventually somebody wins like some extraordinary amount of money, like $1 million. In like competition 2 or 3 or something like this, they say, okay, everybody pair up. So people obviously choose somebody they've already been talking to or somebody they know. They say, get a teammate with you. And then they put each one of those people into a small white room that's like a box. And they say, now decide among yourselves who's going home. And if either of you can't decide within X amount of time, you both go home and don't win. And then people are just...
Dang.
Yeah, people choose their best friend, and now they're both stuck in a tiny cubicle, and they have like 30 minutes to decide which one of them is voluntarily going home, or they both have to. And people are crying, saying, "I need this money for my family, and my kid's got cancer, and I need this money for my dad, and I can, and there's arguing, and I'm like,
Jeez.
this is so stressful."
Somebody just commented, and we're probably I'm sure people are like, this is about GLP-1s. Why are these guys talking about shows? I apologize. I tend
I
to go
don't
off on
apologize.
tangents. Yeah. Somebody said, I save those kinds of shows for the treadmill. I can only watch them while doing that. Makes me get those steps. That's smart.
Thank you for bringing it back to health and fitness there. That is exactly
Yes.
what I recommend to clients, is when you're on the treadmill or the cross trainer, the elliptical or something like this, or even if you're walking or you're doing chores, or when you are moving, you might need a little bit of entertainment. You either need your favorite show or you need the Macros Inc. podcast. Clients have been really positive about our last show last week, so thank you to anybody that's listened to episode 2 of myself and Master Dylan Miller here co-hosting the Macros Inc. podcast and bringing it back. My clients have been loving it. I've been told that people have been listening to it while running, people have been listening to it while driving, while doing chores. You're getting health and fitness positive information from 2 people positive in your life trying to help you straight into your ears, into your mind every week for free here from the Macros Inc. podcast. So absolutely, that's a great tip. If you're doing cardio, like, it can be boring. Do what you can to make it lesser so. Get your music on, get your favourite show on, get the Macros Inc. podcast on, and let's keep moving.
We'll be back next week with another great episode, won't we? I don't know what the topic's going to be. Well, actually, I kind of have an inclination, but you and I can talk about that because I know there's no shortage of ideas. But
I have 1,000 ideas every single day. Also, if people want to comment ideas, I think that's fantastic because we want to bring the people what they want. So if you as a listener right now, whether you're listening on... Where are we live? We're definitely live on YouTube. Are we live anywhere else or is it just YouTube?
yep, Spotify. Will be on. Yep. I mean, well, it's
Beautiful.
not live on Spotify, but I upload the episodes to
It will be
to
there.
Spotify,
You can leave comments on Spotify, that's right, isn't it?
as far as I'm aware.
I think you can, but anyway, wherever you are listening, or you can make a post into the Macros Inc. Facebook group, which if you're not in the Macros Inc. Facebook group, you should be. Then get into the Macros Inc. Facebook group, make a post, tag me, tag Master Dylan Miller, and say, hey, I want an episode about this. Or even if we can't make an episode about it, we can shout out your comment and we can answer your questions live as well. We appreciate all support. We appreciate you being here. We're trying to help you so you can help us provide you what you want, and then it's all synergistic and circular.
Well said. I think on that note, we should duck out of here. Been a pleasure. I appreciate everyone watching. And again, we'll be back next week We usually do these on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central.
4
let's see,
p.m.
we did do-
UK time in the land of the
Excuse
angles
me.
across the pond. Here we are. It's 4 p.m. now, 5 p.m. finishing the show. 4 p.m. UK time live. Maybe it's 5
Yep.
Maybe it's 5 p.m. starting live if you're in Europe. I think will be 10 or different times depending on where you are in the US. Actually, I have people in all kinds of US states that have all kinds of time zones.
Just be on the lookout in the group, and we'll post it when we're going live, and you guys can watch.
Absolutely. You're a pleasure to talk to as
All
well,
right, guys.
sir. You're easy to talk to. I thank you for all the information you've given us on GLP-1s here. You've really laid out
Yeah,
the scene
likewise.
nicely, and hopefully people have got some good perspective and information from us here today, and we'll see everybody again next week.
You got it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're outie.